problem, yet the problem and the people with the power of the past is the National Assembly, Honorable Speaker. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, there is the question of the MOU that we signed between ODM and UDA. Honorable Speaker, I said I will come back to CS Mbadi because it has been said out there that I only criticize, but I don't say anything positive about our experts in the government. The truth of the matter is, if you do something that is contrary to what ODM stands for, it is my responsibility to say that that is against what ODM stands for. When CS Mbadi says that in this particular financial year, there will be no new taxes he introduces under the Finance Act, that is ODM. That is who we are. We say tick. When Mbadi says that, I saw in today's newspapers, Honorable Speaker, that he has issued a circular that is going to introduce transparency in the PPP process. He has adopted wholesale the recommendations of the committee of this House on transport and housing, which was dealing with the Adani question, Honorable Speaker, when we said that, number one, if you are a government agency that receives a privately initiated proposal on any development, you have a responsibility to disclose that you have received that document. He has adopted that. As SG, I say, that is ODM. We are for transparency. Tick. Honorable Speaker, we have said in the committee, where I used to sit when Karungu Wathangwa was the chair, I was a member, that you have to allow, after you receive a privately initiated proposal for a PPP, you have to allow other people to give you a better offer, what we called in the committee the Swiss challenge. I have seen he has put it in the circular. I say that is ODM. We say tick. But this one here, where he's proposing 405 billion Kenya shillings, it is my responsibility to say to the CS for Treasury, that is not what ODM has agreed with UDA. We agreed in the MOU, and I carry this MOU everywhere I go because I encounter ignorance at all levels, Honorable Speaker. And it is my responsibility to make sure that I deal with the ignorant about what this MOU provides for. Honorable Speaker, the majority leader was with me in Migori, and he asked me that he has read this MOU, that it is a good thing. But he doesn't understand why it is Sifuna's role to ask people questions. I want to explain a few things to him. Unfortunately, he has walked out. Number one, if you look at the constitution of ODM under Article 11, Honorable Speaker, it sets out the duties of members of ODM. Number one, Honorable Speaker, it is our duty as members of a party to understand the programs and the things that the party gets itself into. Once you have understood, it is a responsibility stated in the Constitution to explain what the party is doing. It is my responsibility to explain what we are doing with UDA. And finally, Honorable Speaker, under Article 11, we have a duty to combat propaganda that is detrimental to the interests of ODM. Combat is the word that is used by the Constitution. When you combat, you are not required to be nice. Although my party leader has asked me to reduce the number of papers that I put in the soup. Honorable Speaker, combat means you take it head on. Propaganda that is detrimental to the interests of a party. Such propaganda as to what the provisions of this document are. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, Article 20 of the Constitution of ODM says that the Secretary General of ODM is the depository and custodian. Just a minute, let me make my point. Is the custodian of all documents, including all agreements that the party signs.
Just a minute, Senator Sifuna. What is out of order?
Mr. Speaker, I'm rising under Standing Order number 101, and there's a facet of it. It's a lot of things about it. But generally, if you look at under 101, it's the content of speeches that we make in this House. And Mr. Speaker, the SG of ODM, who is my SG, who I really also respect also as my deputy party whip, deputy whip in this House, has brought the argument on the agreement that ODM had with Kenya Kwanza as a substantive conversation around what we must have in this House when we're looking at what we have. Mr. Speaker, this is a speech that I do support. However, Mr. Speaker, is it in order for this to be the basis for which we are discussing the issue of division of revenue in this house, when that agreement has not been put in this house and tabled as would be required under that standing order, Mr. Speaker, to the extent that there has been a motion that informs our debates here. Because if you revert to that as a substantive issue that informs your speech in this house, then, Mr. Speaker, we will be taking the role of this parliament away from us and taking it to discussions outside the Senate, Mr. Speaker, so that we are actually taking our role as senators to debate issues in this house, Mr. Speaker, and giving it to forces outside the Senate, Mr. Speaker. And the reason why I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, is because the issue of division of revenue, what happens, Mr. Speaker, for senators in this house who are not party to that particular agreement? They need to participate in the division of revenue conversation, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order for the Senator of Nairobi to bring that argument and that document as a basis for us to discuss in this house, Mr. Speaker?
Senator Okech, I've looked at the standing order 101, contents of speech from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I cannot see any contravention from what Senator Sifuna is addressing to. You know, when debating, you can really gather your things from here and there as you put your points in order. You know, we cannot limit debate in this house or people to think in a certain way. And that is why the Senate is respected, because senators are able to speak even 20 minutes. Unless other houses where they only do 2-3 minutes and they sit down. So let us not stifle debate, as long as he is not mentioning names anyhow. But this standing order can accuse you somehow, Senator Sifuna. So avoid mentioning names of other people. Mention the office, which is okay, but the names are not going to use the names of the CS by his name and not these other people.
Honorable Speaker,
maybe because he is not the CS now, maybe he has been reshuffled. So use the office.
Well guided, Honorable Speaker, you can see that my point has been demonstrated, that I encounter ignorance even from members of ODM. And it is my responsibility to teach, because that's what the constitution of a party requires me to do. In fact, Honorable Speaker, I was coming to the point that we are discussing. Division of revenue is a matter that has been covered under this agreement. And, Honorable Speaker, this agreement is not restricted to the parties that have signed it. Because it's my job to teach, allow me to read what this agreement establishes. The propaganda I was saying we must combat is what this agreement is and what it is not. This agreement does not form a government. In fact, what it says, Honorable Speaker, is that it sets up a platform for collaboration and cooperation between all political forces, not ODM and UDA.